Greetings and welcome to this week's True Sky Sidereal astrological weather forecast, where we look at the current astronomical placements of the etheric bodies and planetary beings as they are visible in the sky, moving along the line of the ecliptic in real time, passing through the various star groupings or constellations known as the zodiac, in order to harness these alchemical energetic reactions to self-actualize and to work our way out of the matrix. The mainstream or popularized tropical or Western astrology that you'll see online differs from this in that it is a seasonal construct. Essentially, even though they say certain planet is here or there, it's actually all symbolic because the planets are not there. They have not taken into consideration the precession of the equinoxes, where this line moves 1 degree every 72 years, or the varying sizes of the constellation, or the 13th zodiac sign, Ophiuchus. So if you're here for an accurate representation of where the etheric bodies are and the energies that are being created as they pass through the constellations, stay tuned. All right, so let's start off this week's forecast with a rundown of where everything is. There's been a lot of activity with the sun's transit from Scorpio into Ophiuchus. Again, reiterating that Ophiuchus is the higher octave of Scorpio. We pass through the deep water, the deep emotions of the death portal of Scorpio, surrender to that, and are reborn through Ophiuchus, which is right over the galactic center, or which is a black hole and the womb of our universe. I have a lot of other contents, more on TikTok, a little bit on YouTube here on that specific topic. We also have had Mercury in retrograde right in the same spot, because Mercury is usually pretty close to the sun, and that is actually wrapping up today. Mercury Stationing Direct on Sunday as I'm recording this. So moving down the line of the ecliptic, there's Sagittarius there, and then just on the edge of Sagittarius, we see our friend Pluto, which is really technically in Capricorn because there's a bit of an orb there. Pluto is just entering Capricorn, as I've stated in some of my other videos. A controversial take because so many people were really invested in it being in Aquarius, but I digress for now. Venus also in Capricorn there. I just made that transition last week. So Venus, the planet of love and relationships, in Capricorn, values and doing things properly. We have Saturn in Aquarius. Here's Aquarius here. And Neptune right at home in Pisces. So Pisces is quite a large constellation. You can see here the difference in the size. So this is where we have to take these into consideration when it comes to the birth chart and transit charts as well, because some planets are going to be in different signs, or the planets are going to be in some signs longer than others because some signs are bigger than others, okay? So just moving down the line of the ecliptic, it's like this is a different angle because I'm doing it at a different time of day, and I really struggled with this screen recording, guys, so my bad. I'll get better, I swear. So here's Aries, and then we have Uranus again. The outer planets like move more slowly, right? So there's not really any big changes here. Jupiter is still in Taurus, and here on the horizon, just above the horizon as it's rising, is our big old moon. Huge full moon. We're still in the bubble of that. It was apex like just about 12 or 13 hours from when I was recording this. And I've made some content actually on the correlation between the Schumann resonance and what's going on with these different aspects as well. That is mostly on TikTok if you want to check that out. Moving down the line of the ecliptic, I was trying to get Leo to show up, or Cancer to show up here. Mars is still retrograde in Cancer. And this is when I was trying to get Leo to show up. I was like, hello, Lion, where are you? Come on. There it is. But there's not much action going on in this part of the sky right now. So we'll just kind of move through the line of the ecliptic here past Virgo, another massive constellation. You can see how long it would take the planets to transit through that star grouping there. Libra, and returning our way back to the sun here, still right in the thick of the Ophiuchus portal. So getting into the transits and aspects this week, I would say this part of the sky is really the main focus. The highlights would be Mercury going direct, which is happening today, and then the sun is going to be moving out of Ophiuchus and into Sagittarius later in the week. So starting with Mercury, let's go there. So Mercury's been retrograde in this Scorpio and Ophiuchus portal. So it has been moving backwards through the sign. Mercury is the planet of communication and transmission and how we're thinking. So for the last 3 weeks, things have been kind of murky. We've had a lot of brain fog going on. We've also been getting blasted by solar flares, and the Schumann resonance has been spiking in correlation with this activity in the stars. So the sun, specifically when it moved from Scorpio into Ophiuchus, there was a huge surge that lasted for several days. I did document this on TikTok. It's a little easier to use that platform for that kind of content. So if you're interested in following along as I continue to monitor that correlation, I would suggest following me on that platform. But for now, back to Mercury Stationing Direct today as I'm recording this, actually. So this 3-week period of a pause and contemplating, rethinking how we think about things, and considering this axis of creation between how we feel, how we think, how we feel, and how those feelings create our reality in the physical world. So we should, moving forward, have a bit more momentum as far as what we can do moving forward, or maybe some new insights. This is also going to be facilitated by the lunar cycle. So where we're at right now, again, as I mentioned in the run through there, we are still within the orb of a significant full moon, where the moon is in Taurus and opposing, so it's always across from the sun when it's full, opposing this whole effect of the Scorpio and Ophiuchus. So I did a couple videos on that dynamic. I won't go into too much detail here, but essentially, again, just reinforcing this idea of feeling our feelings, detaching from the first person victim perpetrator type of mindset, understanding that everything that is happening is a direct correlation to how you're feeling internally, taking your power back from looking outside of yourself to decide how you feel, and deciding how you feel internally first, and then your reality will reflect that. So that's what all of these different energies have been pushing our buttons, essentially, to help bring that to our awareness so that we can choose differently and move up the spiral instead of having the same experiences over and over and over. So as far as the moon transits this week, the moon is going to be in Gemini as of Monday. It was just kind of at the cusp of Taurus and into Gemini. There's a bit of an orb on either side of the constellations, which is another thing that's a little bit different from tropical or mainstream astrology. So the full moon was in Taurus, but now the moon is in Gemini. A Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so just kind of another layer of that Mercurian, oh my gosh, it's been a week, folks. Mercurian energy, highlighting how we think and how we feel and how those things are connected. Okay, so that'll be through Monday. While this is happening, the sun is going to be in the middle of the galactic center from Monday to Tuesday. So it's going to be just really sitting on that womb or the blank space. Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon will be in Cancer, which is cardinal water, so a little bit more emotional type of feels. And then Thursday, basically until the rest of the week, like Leo is another larger constellation. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and into a little bit of Sunday, it'll be in Leo, bringing up like energy of the sun, our heart, passion, pleasure. And then finally on Sunday, the last of the week, it will be in Virgo. So just that kind of organizational, what can we improve on energy as far as our emotions go. In other aspects this week, on Wednesday, we have the sun squaring Neptune. So squares when there's a 90-degree angle, and it can cause a bit of conflict between the aspects. So again, we have the sun right over the galactic center, or just past that direct center point where it will be Monday and Tuesday, squaring Neptune, which is in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces is double intangibility and illusions, like what's hidden underneath. It can also be like apathy and feeling really spacey, kind of that ungrounded, flighty nature that Pisces can be. Rose-colored glasses, getting lost in fantasy kind of idea. So there, with this combination, there's going to be energies facilitating the illumination, because that's what the sun does, of our need for spiritual hygiene and any potential escapism or apathy that is going on. But on the flip side, it's not just the shadow aspects, right? Like, it can also be illuminating your intuition and your receptivity and your ability to download divine insights. On Thursday, we will have the sun dipping into the orb of Sagittarius. There is a bit of a gap between these constellations, so slowly it will be transitioning from the really deep depths of the portal that we've been in for the last couple weeks between Scorpio and Ophiuchus, and moving into Sagittarius, which is like the more lively, the mutable fire, philosopher, kind of expanding that new creation energy. Like Sagittarius, after the death and rebirth of Scorpio and Ophiuchus, Sagittarius feels like a new year almost, and it's very curious with the timing of the equinox and the pinpoint between dark and light, and the light beginning to take over as we move into Sagittarius season, and the journey that comes with that, the new creation that is possible after the pause, the surrender, and the revamping of your internal landscape to create a new reality. And finally, on Friday, we will have, actually it starts on Thursday, but into Friday, we will have Venus trining Jupiter. So Venus, again, just freshly in Capricorn. So Venus is a feminine, receptive energy of love, relationships, and Capricorn is that cardinal earth energy of doing things the right way, being organized, having good values, like good work ethic, being organized kind of energy. So really, Venus in Capricorn is just highlighting like a love of discipline and planning and being organized, essentially. Trining Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, which has been in Taurus for some time. So expansion of the worldly pleasures, earthly pleasures, the physical world. So these two things together in the trine is going to be a focus on an expansion of enjoyments, relationships, physical, like tactile experiences in the 3D realm. This is why we are in these bodies, right? Like, we're ultimately, remember, we're all one, and you are another me. I'm basically talking to myself right now. And we're doing this, forgetting in these separate bodies so that we can have the experiences that you can have in a body, right? Eating the food, like wearing the clothes, like having the lovely home, like all of those tactile experiences are the gift of being human. So with this trine, we're going to have just a focus on what it is to be human and why we're doing this and the experiences that come along with that. So that's it for this week's, folks. I would say overall, it looks like it should be like we're moving out of the thickness, the density, and the depths that we've been through the last couple of weeks, and things should start to get a little bit lighter. As we are moving through this energetic process, the physical body is the slowest thing to catch up. So continuing to make space for yourself, hydrating, resting, watching how much input you're having, right? Like making sure that you're in a state of neutrality as much as possible, or introspection more than consuming from the outside would be my recommendation, to make that space, to allow the insights to filter in. Because the insights that you're going to receive from making space and just doing nothing, essentially, are going to be the steps that you need to move forward with divinely guided action. So thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. If you've watched this entire video, please give me a like, a share, a comment, pass this on to somebody who you think might benefit from it, and I'll see you in the next one.